Okay. Oh, okay. This is gonna be a rocky start, because I haven't done this for a while, so I'm gonna have to go through and do all my checks as usual. There is a little bit of lag on my preview. I don't know if that's gonna actually show up on the recording, so hopefully it doesn't, but there we go. Um, need to pop out my chat. I'm going to where's the chat? How do I pop out the chat again? They've changed it. Hello. There we go. They still haven't done. I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna commit to this and say that I'm gonna try and not complain about this pop out chat thing that YouTube does every single stream like I did last season. Uh, I could try not to do it, but it's still bugging me. Cool. That's working. That's working. Excellent. You're at the game. How was the atmosphere in the stadium? Because I did see that supposedly the crowd wasn't as big as they kind of expected, because obviously they were charging so much for the tickets and things like that. Um, Chile was terrible. Sneak preview into what we're gonna be discussing today. He might be on here. I haven't actually prepared my points in advance because I didn't really want to be streaming too late, so I wanted to get this over quite quickly. Obviously, it is for me in England. It is 5:25 in the morning. So yeah, I didn't want to drag it on, and obviously I don't think there's going to be um, too many people tuning in today, which is fine. But yeah, let's get right into this. Let's hit the intro because man, I've been so out of sorts with streaming. I'm gonna figure it out as we get there. Lads, lasses, and the rest of the masses, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mono from Mono CFC, and welcome to Season 2 of Feeling Blue. Let's go. Bit of a rocky start there. Christ. I've been messing around with my streaming setup and stuff whilst I've been doing recording because I've been doing Mono React so much recently. I've had to change a few things around, and yeah, so some of the things are a little bit scuffed. We will fix them as we kind of get further into the season. But yeah, welcome to Feeling Blue. For those of you who have not seen this series before, I will go over what we kind of do here for people watching on the VOD as well. This is my series where I take my lucky number of 7 things, and I'll choose 7 random things from the game that I personally believe need to be spoken about, and we'll assign them into these nice juicy boxes. Pause. Pause. This has been a horrific start. This has been so bad. We will assign them into these neatly organised boxes from good feelings to bad feelings, and then at the end we usually run a poll to determine who is the true blue. This is just a fancy name for player of the match. It's good to be back. It is good to be back. God, Christ on a bike. I apologise for the rocky start, and I'm also gonna preface this by saying that you could probably tell from my voice, I'm feeling rather under the weather, with multiple different things. So if I do sound awful, that's why. With obviously the pre-season coming up, a lot of recording is having to be done in recent times, and yeah, it's been taking its toll. But yeah, let's get into the points immediately. Well, I guess we can kind of talk about the game. Obviously, it's a 2-2 draw with Wrexham. I'm not going to put too much emphasis on the result too much. I think it's more so we kind of want to talk about the performances and the attitude of the players, things like that. Obviously, the team we were facing in Wrexham are a much better team than we probably give them credit for. They've obviously got back-to-back promotions now. And also they have a week worth of training, whereas we didn't. So they're much more match fit than us. They were always going to be much more match fit than us. So that's kind of tapering off at the end. It was kind of expected. I'm going to quickly talk about a few players here. And I said, I'm going to be making this up as I go along, because I haven't actually pre-thought out my points like I usually do. The first player that's going into the good box, and genuinely, he was the only player in that first half that I kept getting wowed by, and that's our brand new signing, Mark Guillou. And I am going to be updating the graphics for these because they have just changed. The Chelsea admin, I swear, was trolling me. They changed things as soon as I started putting things on and like changing my graphics. They immediately changed them. Mark Guiu is going into the good box. He looked so comfortable, so assured, and so mature for a player that is 18 years old and playing in his first ever game for the club. Genuinely, he looked 10 times the player Broja did when Broja came on. He was making runs into the channels, making smart runs into the channels. He was also dropping deep, providing that option to kind of help us play out from the middle, because we did find it hard to play out from the middle in this game, admittedly, because the midfield, because of how Wrexham was set up, was very congested. And also the fact that he was the pressing, the way he was running, and that desire. The only striker I have ever seen with that same desire that has played for this club is another Spaniard, well, a Brazilian that is also a Spaniard, and that's Diego Costa. He really, really reminded me of Diego Costa in this game. I think that he was unlucky not to get a goal. I think Nkunku did steal a goal off of him. Spoiler alert, let's put Nkunku in here. I don't think Nkunku played particularly well. Where is he? Where have I put him? I've got this sorted out in alphabetical order, and I'm looking at my ends. I can't find him. Wait, am I stupid? Oh, here he is. Okay, I've put him in forwards. Oh man, I've got it sorted by position. So I've got like every single like forward and then midfielder, etc., and they're all in alphabetical order. I've put Nkunku into the forwards, which he wasn't in there last year. And Nkunku obviously getting a goal. I'm a person that, as I kind of mentioned in the past with this series, that if someone gets a goal contribution, they're more than likely going to end up in the good box, or at least the medium box if they have an absolutely atrocious game. So Nkunku obviously getting a goal. I did think that he was a little bit off the pace in this one, and I don't think that the kind of 8 position really suited him as well on that left-hand side. Obviously, we're probably not going to see him play there very often, and I don't think that he will. That's his position for the foreseeable future. I think he was basically just the stand-in for Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, who's more than likely going to be operating in that role instead. But yeah, getting a goal, and we know how clinical Nkunku is. Every single time he's been on the pitch pretty much for us, he's looked like he can score. He's got one of the best goals to games ratios, or like goals to minutes ratios in the entire squad, which is pretty good. Yeah, and I think obviously Nkunku looked really good in pre-season last season, and the best thing we can say is he didn't get injured, and that's my priority. He isn't injured. He can play the next game. We just got to take it one game at a time. Should we? I like going from good box to medium box to bad box, and I'm probably not going to restrict myself to the 7 things in this game because I haven't really thought about them. I'm going to think, is there a player who I could put in medium here? Someone that played well, but not entirely well. I think, you know what, this might be a bit harsh on him because he is a youngster. I'm going to put Chempong in here. I think that overall he played pretty well, but he made a horrific mistake for one of our goals. Yeah, Leslie could go in here as well. To be honest, hang on, because I did speak about goal contributions. I'll put Leslie in the good box at some point. But yeah, I think Josh. Obviously, this is only his second senior appearance, so I'm not going to be judging him too harshly. He did look pretty comfortable. He was playing some decent passes down the line, but I don't think that he was, what's the word, very much in tune with the rest of his defensive line. And to be honest, I think the defense in general was just a bit disorganized, and that is what I'm going to be putting in the bad box. Is I'm just going to be putting our entire defense for that second half specifically. I think our defense in the first half was very, very good, and the way that we recovered the ball was very much to what I was saying in my preview, and how we were going to be good at counter pressing and getting on the ball and not letting them really have the ball at all. I think that in the first half we were doing that counter-pressing style really well, and James and Lavia were doing exceptionally well to control the midfield. In the second half, that midfield control kind of disappeared, and we were much more exposed on the counter-attack, and that's basically where all of the goals came from, were from counter-attacks. Speaking of, I'm going to be all over the place because I haven't planned this out. I do apologise. I'm going to be putting Lavia, we'll go back to the good box. I'm going to be putting Lavia in the good box. Other than Guiu, he was the only player in that first half that actually stood out to me as, wow, this player is actually playing. And he looks so assured, and it's crazy. We've had this absolute demon in the midfield just in our recovery room for an entire year. If he can stay fit, this will feel like a brand new signing, and he will do so well for us. And we very much, as I said, with James and Lavia coming off at half time, we very much lost that control and that composure that he brought to the midfield in the second half. We didn't really have it as much. I've seen a lot of people are talking about our wingers, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of winger talk. I'm going to put... Obviously, I don't want to... We had so many players playing, I don't want to talk about everyone, but I do want to kind of mention the people I feel like specifically needed to kind of be talked about. Madueke. Let's talk about Madueke. I'm going to put him in the medium box. I think overall his game was pretty good. Again, just the lack of end product is kind of pushing him down from a good to a medium. His right-footed crossing really needs work. I think he needs to be drilled on the training ground to do that. And I don't think it would have been as big of an issue if we didn't see the next player that I'm going to talk about here. Where is he? I can't remember if I put him under G or A. Where is he? There he is. Angelo Gabriel. I'm going to be putting him in the good box. I think in the second half, he was the best player in that second half team. And he showed Madueke how to cross on your right foot. His weak foot crossing from that right hand side looked much more assured than Madueke. And to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, I think Angelo, out of the two halves, I think he had the better of the two halves than him and Madueke. So yeah, I think he played really well. Obviously, the thing which is really impressive about Gabriel to me is his ability to play that kind of one-touch pop passing and kind of follow up with the initial pass. Like, he never plays one pass and then stands there. He always plays a pass and then follows his pass and kind of tries to get involved. And that's something and obviously he always likes coming inside more, but he actually showed a bit of a different variety. In the preseason last season, we saw him cutting inside a lot, trying to get shots off. In this game in particular, we saw a bit different from him, in that he was going inside at times, but also going outside. Obviously, he's going to be operating more as an outside winger in the system because there's no fullbacks to overlap, so it's good to see him being able to do that. Where is my boy, Tariq George? I said I wasn't going to talk about everyone. I am kind of talking about everyone. Tariq George, I think, looked so impressive for a player that, again, has literally basically played not a single senior cap for us. He looked... This is going to sound really a bit, what's the word, superlative, I guess is the way to say it. He looked 10 times the player that Raheem Sterling is in this game, genuinely. Every single time he got the ball, he looked like he could do something with it. Sterling obviously had a few good dribbles, but his end product is just non-existent. There was a really good opportunity, and you know what, I'll actually put Sterling into... I'm going to be putting Sterling in there. It was a really good opportunity for him to cut the ball back to Leslie, and he just didn't do it, and he was free. Not to mention him switching off for one of our first goals. And I'm going to be putting him in combination. Let's get my little chain out here. I'm going to be putting him in combination with a player which I'm pretty sure every single person would be putting in here, and it's the hideous twins of... it's the hideous twins of Sterling and Chilwell. I said this on multiple occasions. And I said it on Twitter a few moments ago. If you don't follow me on Twitter, do so. My links are on my page. But playing these two on the left-hand side is absolutely suicidal. Genuinely. Neither of them defend. Neither of them. It's like not having a player there. It was like we were playing with 9 men at times, and it's just... oh my god. It's one of those things where, like, I specifically, in my preview, I put out my team to be very balanced. I didn't include either Chilwell or Sterling in my previews, by the way, so guess who's the genius here? It's me. In my previews, I made the teams very balanced in that we would be strong in the first half, but also strong in the second half. And I do think that Maresca did get it a little bit wrong. I did think that he got it a little bit wrong in the fact that the second half team was just very much weaker than the first team. He kind of put all of his eggs in one basket in the first half, and I think he expected us to go a little bit more ahead than we actually ended up doing. And then because we kind of had to... weather the storm, as it were. We kind of got onto our own, basically made our own mistakes and let Wrexham get back into the game. Speaking of the coaching staff, this is a weird one, and it's so funny because I specifically highlighted this man in my graphic here because I did think that this would be a factor in the game, and I'm going to be giving a good to Bernardo Cueva, who is our set piece coach, because in the first half especially, you could tell that there has been work done on the set pieces. Every single set piece that we had in the first half, it looked like we were going to score. Admittedly, we just didn't get on the end of things. I think Giyu had like 2 chances to get on the end of something, didn't get on the end of something. Badiashile had an opportunity, didn't get on the end of it, obviously, but it was very obvious that we could see that kind of pattern of play of we swing the ball into the near post, get a little flick on to the far post, and try and finish from the far post. And we knew, like, one of the things we needed to improve on throughout the entire season, not only offensively but defensively, was set pieces, and he's immediately come in, and it looks like that is improving, which is, I've got to give my hats off to him. Let's talk about one player, because I do think it's important. Where is he? Obviously, I'm going to be putting Leslie in here just because he scored. I did speak about him earlier, and I never actually put him in the box. He scored. He got our equaliser. You're always going to get in the good box if you get an equaliser. There we go. I'm going to talk about, where is he? Malagusto. I'm going to be putting Malagusto in the medium box. I think that he's a bit hit or miss in this central role, right? I think he's got the capability of playing there. I think he's much better playing as an overlapping fullback. I do think that he was really, really tenacious in the middle and trying to win the ball a lot and getting on the ball a lot and being very productive. But there's one moment that really worries me, and it's kind of the reason why I've notched him down into medium, is that on one of their counterattacks, which they didn't score from, we eventually, or it was one of their, I think it was either a set piece. I think it might have been a set piece. I'm not sure. My memory fails me. But there's one situation where he's standing, like, in his line, and he's pointing to a player that is making a run in behind, and he is saying, like, "Hey, someone go mark this guy," when it's his person to mark, and that frustrates me to no end, because it's like, you can see that player's making the run in behind, and he just stood there and watched him going behind, and obviously the player gets played in. We don't concede from it, but if we did concede from that goal, it would have made Gusto look really, really silly. And I just feel that that's a bit of one of those things where he's not used to playing in that kind of, because he was playing on the kind of the left-hand side at times, which is weird. I just don't think he felt particularly comfortable there, and obviously he's not going to immediately feel comfortable. This is the first time he's played in that role in a long time, so we can't really follow him that much, which is why I've only put him in the medium, because I think overall he was very good. Is there anyone else that I want to talk about here? I could put... This seems harsh. I'm going to put Bergstrom in here. This seems very harsh. I'm going to put Bergstrom in here because he should be saving that first effort, and he just didn't. So he can go there. I think Sanchez had a pretty good game. I think he looked pretty assured. I'm not going to put him in a box. I don't think he was outstanding in any sense, or notable in any sense. He wasn't really tested in terms of actually getting shots on goal because our midfield and our defence was so impeccable in the first half. But I do think he looked assured when he was on the ball, and we did actually see him do that centre-back thing, which I spoke about. He did actually come into, I'll put him in the medium box. It wasn't too impressive, wasn't too unimpressive. That's all I'll say. We did see him come into that right centre-back role at times in that first half, which is interesting to see, because we didn't know if that was going to be something that he was actually employed to do, because we saw it at Leicester, but obviously not everything that happened at Leicester is going to happen at Chelsea. We are two different teams, so we didn't know if that was going to happen. It did happen. That's interesting to see. I feel like I'm missing someone really big. Is there someone that I'm missing that I should be talking about? I feel like I should be talking about someone that I'm not talking about. I'm gonna check chat. Has anyone who am I missing? Loads of people are saying Colwell. Oh, yeah, Colwell. You know what? I think Colwell had a really good game in terms of, you know what? I'm gonna be putting Colwell in the good box for one reason, is that he's playing in a similar position to what he played under Pochettino in the system, where he's pushed a bit wider than he would usually like, and he looks much more assured. Oh, Reese! Of course, my goodness. Reese! Right, where do I put Reese? I don't think he was as good as he probably could have been, but then again, I don't think he was really tasked with being too adventurous. I think he was kind of just told to keep it ticking. Oh, man. Because again, he didn't. All I'm gonna say is that I would put him in medium because out of the two sitting midfielders, I think Lavia looked way more impressive and he stood out more to me. Loads of people are saying Carney. You know what? I'm gonna actually let you guys decide. Where do we put Carney? Because I genuinely I couldn't decide on him because I felt like he felt a bit off the pace when he was playing on the right hand side, but he when he came onto the left hand side in the second half, he looked a little bit better. A lot of people are saying medium. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Put him there. It feels weird not talking about either Tosin, Badish. You know what? I've just seen someone that's going in here. Wesley Fofana, he looked so bad. I'm not gonna lie. This is harsh because he's coming back from such a bad injury, but I think he was absolutely dog water in this game, and it was very, very apparent that he cannot play in that central centre back role. He has to play on the right side, or he's just terrible. Yeah, Carney looked much better when he went to the left. I think that's his natural position. Playing him on the right hand side completely limits what he's good at, and that's kind of cutting inside, shimmying onto his right foot and scoring from there. I don't think playing him on the right hand side is a particularly good use of him. But yeah, I don't think Fofana looked very assured. It's weird because Fofana actually improved towards the latter stages of the second half, where he kind of, after we'd conceded 2 goals, he started looking a bit more solid. But there's just things that he does that are kind of worrying to me. Obviously I don't know if we can, I can't remember if this is what we conceded from. I don't think it is, but one of the things that he did is he kept trying to step up to play the offside trap when none of the other centre backs were attempting to do that. So he just kept stepping out of position for no reason and letting like massive holes open up. And again, I think that in general the defense wasn't very balanced. I do think that is. I've said this. I'm a very objective person. I don't think that Enzo Maresca got the second half right. I think he got the first half pretty much as expected, as he could have done. I think the second half team was just not good enough in terms of having balance all over the pitch. Playing Chilwell as a left centre-back is genuinely a horrific decision. Playing him in general is a horrific decision, but playing him in the left centre-back is just genuinely mind-boggling to me, and I'm not really sure what the plan was there. I wonder if he was supposed to be playing Vega, who someone has just mentioned there. I wonder if he was supposed to play Vega, but then Vega might have picked up a knock in training or something, and that's why he didn't feature. Which I felt was really weird, because we've seen him in training for like ages now, and it's kind of, he was like one of our marquee signings, and he just didn't really obviously he didn't play, and he just kind of disappeared. Is there anyone else I want to talk about before we end this? Oh, you know what, this guy's going in the bad box because Jesus Christ. I've lost words. We need to get rid of Broja as soon as possible. Remember when people thought that he was going to be the next Diego Costa? How wrong we were. He was non-existent, genuinely non-existent until the last 5 minutes of the game. I tweeted this out at the time. I genuinely forgot he had even gotten onto the pitch. Like, genuinely forgot he was even on the pitch. Because in comparison, this is the thing which is worrying to me. If you compare how Broja played in that second half to Mark Guiu, and you just see how much more effort that Guiu put in to chase after the ball, to drop deep to support his teammates, to make the runs in behind, and then you see Broja just standing there like a lamppost and not doing anything. And it's just kind of like, it's just like, we kind of just have to cut our losses with Broja now. I think that he's, after his injury, I just don't think he's ever going to get back to that kind of that form that he was hitting when he was playing on loan. And I feel like that's someone we just kind of have to, I think he is probably going to get sold. I think the only reason he played in this game was because Jackson is injured. If Jackson was fit, I don't think he would have touched the pitch. I feel like I should talk about someone else. I guess I could talk about Tosin. I'm going to put Tosin in the medium box, simply just because I don't think he was overly impressive. I don't think he was overly bad in any way. But one thing I did want to note about him, I don't think he suits the right side. It was a bit weird to me seeing him play on the right hand side of the 3 rather than in the centre, with Badiashile playing in the centre. Obviously, because Badiashile is a left footer, he kind of had to play there. I just don't think it kind of suited him playing on that right side. I feel like he's much more suited to being a central centre-back. And typically we don't have Chalobah because he didn't come with us. And I think Chalobah would have been the nailed-on starter for me personally in that right centre-back role with Tosin in the middle. Yeah, I don't think he was... I don't think he didn't really stand out to me as a player that really impacted the game, but he didn't look terrible either. And obviously, first half was a 1-0 victory. We can say that. The first 45 was a 1-0 victory, and he kept a clean sheet. I think we looked pretty comfortable in that first half too. I don't think we didn't really ever have anything that troubled us. And he looked... One thing I will give him credit for is he looked very comfortable when he was under pressure and he had to play back to the goalkeeper. I think that he looked very assured in that regard. And I think in general the whole back line looked very assured at that kind of in those kind of situations. Obviously we got a lot more pressure in the second half than we got in the first half, but I think that is just a result of the fact that our midfield pressing and in general our defenders were just more comfortable in the first half than they were in the second half. Is there anyone I've missed? I've missed I haven't spoken about Santos. Should I talk about Santos? I don't think he was particularly... man, I don't know if I want to... let's put him here. I've kind of... The players which I don't really have an opinion on, I'm going to be putting in this medium box, right? So I don't think he played particularly terribly. But again, we just didn't... Our midfield in general just didn't look very comfortable in the second half. I can put Maresca in the middle as well. I've just seen someone mention him. I'm going to put Maresca in the middle. I said I think he got the first half right. I don't think he got the second half right. And in general, the balance of the team in the second half just wasn't good enough. Which is really funny. One of the assistant coaches being in the good box and our actual manager being the medium box. But hey ho. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to take, as I said at the top of the episode, I'm not going to take this result in particularly. I'm not going to dwell on it. It's our first game in pre-season against is our first game in pre-season against a team that has already been playing two teams and is already fitter than us, so I'm not going to complain that much. And as I kind of mentioned in one of my videos previous when I was talking about what Enzo needs to kind of do, one of the things I mentioned is that if we're going to be making mistakes and if there's going to be issues that we have to iron out, making all those mistakes and having those issues in pre-season is the perfect time to have them. We've not mentioned Badiashile. Again, I don't really have space for Badiashile. He's another player that I think can just kind of go in the middle, but because I don't think again it was one of those things where he was. I think this applies to a lot of our players in the first half. Is that I felt like they didn't play particularly excellently and they weren't outstanding, but they played well enough to kind of played well enough to kind of get over the line. I don't think he was particularly... Again, I think it's more so just the fact that he was playing in the centre, which is a bit weird. I'm gonna put him... is there anyone I can put down? I don't know. I'm just going to include him in the whole defence thing. I don't have the space to put him anywhere. But yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to talk too much. I'm not going to talk too much longer because I don't want to keep people up, as the people already had to stay up late enough as it is. What we will do, however, is run the poll for the True Blue, if I can remember how to do it. It's been so long since I've done this. How do I run a poll? There we go. Right, so we're going to be asking for our True Blue for this match, and you guys can vote when it's up. I'm going to give 4 options, and they're all going to be from the good box. And I'm just going to choose the players which I personally think were our best players, and then you guys can decide between them. I can only add 4 options, unfortunately, so I can't add all of the players that are in there. I think I'm going to be putting you in here. I think he was probably our best player, or one of the best players. Boom. Start the poll. Hopefully that works. Yeah, Broya got an assist. That actually really annoyed me. I'm not gonna lie, because it was such a nothing assist. But there we go. you guys can vote, and whilst you guys do that, I will take a sip of my mango. Because my throat is killing me, because I'm very, very ill. And whilst I'm letting you vote, I'm going to actually check when the next game is. I have it in my calendar, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. I know we play Celtic on Saturday. There's a 9 PM kickoff on Saturday. That's pretty good. So the preview for that, the preview for the Celtic game will probably come out on Saturday morning, I would imagine. Because obviously I want there to be a little bit of time before the actual game kicks off. If I release it 2 hours before the game kicks off, it's not going to get seen by a lot of people. So there we go. Let's see, what have you guys... Mug cam. You know what's funny is, right, I've got 2 cameras now, because I've got plans for certain things coming up, and I should I tease you guys with something that's coming up? One of the things off my bucket list that I kind of mentioned for this year, if I wanted to tick off, was collaborating with another Chelsea creator. Something like that may be coming up in the pipeline very soon. That's all I'm going to say. So look forward to that. That's your tease. Let's end the poll. Who has won the poll? I think it's Gyu, yeah? It's not showing me the result. Wait. Hello? Oh, there we go. Yeah, Gyu won. Gyu won by 44%, so he is our true blue, and he'll be going up into here. Excellent. You know what? Now that there's a space, I'm going to put Sanchez here, and I'm going to put Badiashile in the middle box. just so we can get everyone in here. But yeah, everyone have a good night. I said my next video will be on the Saturday morning. It is currently Thursday today, so a few days. There may be something in the middle. Depends if there's like a video they released that I can do a mono reacts to. I might do that. As I said, I will probably have to nurse my voice because I am dying after recording so much recently. But yeah, you guys have a good night. Thank you for hanging out as always. I'll probably be, hopefully you guys will be as well, but I'm going to be going to bed because I am knackered. But yeah, cool. I'm going to hit my outro. As I said, thank you guys for hanging around as ever. Hopefully the outro works because everything else in the stream hasn't worked. But yeah, have a good night, guys. And that was just my Feeling Blue match review for this game. I hope to see you here for the next one. But if you can't wait until then, YouTube reckons you'll enjoy one of these 2 videos on screen in the meantime. Thank you guys so much for watching as ever, and remember, in the rain or in the dry, keep that blue flag flying high. Come on, you Blues.